Hi everyone. I would like to talk a bit about data privacy. Data and data privacy. Well, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp. Basically, five major social networking platforms. These five social networking platforms have over 5.6 billion users in aggregate. It's a very big number. It's 75% of the world's population, and it is almost 4.5 times the population of our very own country, India. Now, these social networking platforms are embedded around three words that are at the core of our discussion here today. They are data, privacy, and the internet. Now, these three words may very well be what drives our world into functioning in this very day and age. When we talk about data, what's the first thing that comes into our mind? A lot of things comes into my mind. The first thing that comes into my mind is a particular chapter of my textbook. But keeping that aside, what is data? Data are raw bits and pieces of information without any context, or to put it in a better way, they are raw facts without any context. When we add some context to it, it becomes information. When the information is used for decision making, we call it knowledge, and knowledge with a deeper understanding is called wisdom. Now, coming to privacy. What is privacy? Well, privacy has been a topic of debate for many years, but it is simply the ability to seclude personally identifiable information about oneself and to share that information at one's own discretion. Now, the latest development and the hottest development in the topic of data and data privacy has obviously been the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal that had broken out over a couple of months ago. It was a controversy involving what first started out as an online survey which was conducted by a website through Facebook, wherein the participants of the website did provide their consent into their information being accessed by the website for quote-unquote academic purposes. What they did not know was that this information that they had given their consent to was being commercially sold to a company called Cambridge Analytica. Now, this company would then use this information, Cambridge Analytica would then use this information that they had received for some political motives. They had some clients and they were using it for some political motives, which was most controversially the US presidential elections in 2016. What was further developed was that it was not just the participants of the survey whose data was accessed, it was the entire friends list of each participant whose data was accessed by the company. All in all, 87 million Facebook users' data was compromised. It is a classic case of a data breach. Now, to combat this, the European Union just recently, on 25th May, has adopted the General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR, as they would like to call it. And they have adopted this, and it is basically a law that provides more control over the citizens or over their data, and has stringent actions for the organizations that are in violation of the regulations. India as such does not have a regulation as the European Union does, but of course the data protection laws are included within the Information Technology Act of 2000 and also the Indian Contract Act. There is no patently granted fundamental right in the Constitution of India pertaining to a right to privacy. But, however, the courts have deemed that the right to privacy is in fact included within existing rights such as freedom of speech and expression and right to live. Very interestingly, the Supreme Court in 2017 had made a landmark judgment. It was a judgment where the constitutional bench of the Honorable Supreme Court had established right to privacy as in fact a fundamental right, but with, of course, certain reasonable restrictions. Now, the topic of data privacy per se is a topic, as I said earlier, of vast and vigorous debate, and it will continue to be so for several years to come. But on a more philosophical note, the proponents for accessing the data, the people who are for it, they can very well make the argument by questioning in such a way as to, if you are not doing anything wrong, what do you have to hide? Well, an answer to that can be given as such as, if I am not doing anything wrong, you have no right to watch me. And also, in a more helpless state, a person can say that I am not the one who is defining what is wrong. It is you, the person who is using this data against me, who is defining what is wrong. And that definition keeps on changing. Therefore, you have no right to access my information. Now, a person who has studied this concept and this topic of data and data privacy is a person called Bruce Schneier. He's a security specialist, and he has made a very, very interesting observation. It is that data privacy is not merely a right, but it is more of a basic human need. We write journals to ourselves privately. We write private journals. We sing in the privacy of the shower. We have private conversations with our companions. When you think about it, data privacy is actually a basic human need. Very interesting. So I would like to conclude by just saying that there is a gray area between the amount of data to be accessed in the name of security. To what extent is a person willing to share their information in the name or to be secure? To what extent is a person willing to share their information to be entertained? And to what extent is the person willing to share their information to enhance their career? Cardinal Richelieu, he was the Foreign Secretary of France in the year 1616. He had famously said, and quite scarily it may be right as well, but he had famously said, if you give me 6 lines written by the hands of the most honest man, I will find something in them that will have that man hanged. So in the light of this statement, where any information whatsoever can be used against us, I ask once again, what is data privacy? Well, thank you for your time, for your valuable time, and hopefully discussions like this will be carried out more. And yes, I will see you later. Bye.